All right, everyone, welcome back to the Brad in College channel, and make sure you guys hit that subscribe button right now. We'll wait. Think they did it?
I don't know.
Anyway, today we're going to talk to you guys about how to bowl on difficult oil patterns. When you're missing left, it's bad. When you're missing right, it's bad. Brad's going to be the one to tell you how to not do that. Stay tuned. All right, Brad, so behind us here, we have a former U.S. Open pattern. And for those of you bowling people out there, the U.S. Open is a 40-foot pattern in length, and the oil is spread completely even across, which makes it very, very difficult. This is one of those patterns where, and a lot of you guys have probably felt this, we feel it all the time, where you miss right, it won't hook, and then you try to tighten up your angles, and you miss left, and it overhooks. So, Brad, when you're bowling on something like this, what are you trying to accomplish to try to get rid of that?
Well, the number one goal is to make sure you just hit the pocket, right? I mean, you can go through all the bowling balls, you can stand on every part of the lane. You're going to stand in the place and you're going to throw the bowling ball that just gives you the most control, and it just gives you the best chance of shooting 220. I mean, remember, 210, 200, 220, those are good games. Now, what do you have to do to shoot a 220 on a difficult bowling pattern? Well, you need to be clean, for one. So anytime you miss, you absolutely have to make the spare, because 220 becomes very difficult when it's hard to strike if you're not making spares. And secondly, you got to just make sure that everything's in control and that you're going through all the stuff that you need to make sure that you're in the right part of the lane. And we're going to detail some of those things for you, because we're going to throw some shots and go through a bunch of different bowling balls. But the main thing is, can you get to the pocket, and can you pick your spares, and can you get to 210?
Right. So I think one of the things we need to work on, and we talk about this, is strategy, right? So this pattern in particular, we're going to show you the first shot's going to be that Brad's going to throw a shot up 5 here, and we're going to show that this is probably completely out of bounds. When the pattern is really flat like this and it's a little longer, playing right is usually bad. So Brad, let's throw one like up 5-ish. Okay. So not a lot of shape there. It's shaped a little bit. We might be able to get something to come off of that, but it still didn't quite get back up to the pocket.
Yeah, and we start there because we just want to know how much hook or hang is out there. If there's hook there, that actually almost got back, so that tells us, we can potentially play that. We don't know for sure yet.
Right, and then a lot of times when you see a shot like that, maybe you can play there, but the thing to be, I guess, weary about is that you might have one where you throw it great up the lane and it splits the 8-9, and you're like, oh my God, I need to play there. Well, when you're practicing, and if you did throw one of those shots, make sure you throw one where you miss a little right, because a lot of times we can throw a strike from there, but can you throw 3 or 4 in a row?
Yeah, and you got to know. You have to. It's okay to throw a couple right out in practice, because you have a better chance of bowling well if you just have knowledge of what the lane condition is doing. If you start your practice and you're just trying to get lined up and strike, and you haven't thrown any other bowling balls, you haven't played any other part of the lane, well then the amount of knowledge you have on that pattern, if somebody else in the competition is doing that, they're going to have an edge over you. So you gotta try things. So what am I doing right now, Kyle? Am I?
Yeah, throw one left? A little further right than that.
Right. Okay.
Yep. So that's what's going to happen when you play right on a pattern like this, that there's a lot of oil on the outside part of the lane. It's going to hang there. So even though you threw that one and it almost got back up to the pocket, if you miss a little right, you're going to pay maximum penalty. And I'm really glad he left a washout there, because that is a max penalty. That's a hard spare to pick. It's going to be very difficult for anyone to pick. And when we're bowling on these difficult patterns, we want to try to play angles, use the right ball, and have the right strategy to negate and try to leave as least amount of those as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I've been bowling my whole life, and I throw a shot like that, and I get tense, I don't want to play there. I mean, I throw 2 shots, one went light, and then I just leak it a little bit. It went mega light for a split. Well, I'm not going to stay there and just try and be perfect. We already know that 2 pretty decent shots went 0 for 2. So that's a pretty clear sign right there No.
Yeah, so you threw 2 shots. Now, after kind of seeing what's going on with those 2 shots, what's going to be the next strategy or place that you're going to try
So
to
now
play?
we need to figure out what's going on in the middle part of the lane too. Do we know? I don't know how long this pattern is, but some 40-foot patterns, we'll say this is 40 feet, is you can find some shim, and then some 40-foot patterns you can't. It just depends on the surface and the oil and all that stuff. But we need to figure out what's going on in the middle of the lane. Is there a way that we can get our ball to slide through the middle of the lane? If we put it in the middle, is it going to hook too much? So now I'm going to move left.
Yeah, so
and
this
I'm
one's
gonna-
probably going to be in between 3rd and 4th arrow somewhere.
Yep.
Okay.
In between.
Same ball.
Same ball, and we're just getting an idea of what's going on in the middle of the lane. I actually got that one right. But I mean,
Okay.
we're still learning.
So that's the miss, and that's why this is a very difficult pattern, because when you miss a little right there, it hangs,
It
and
hangs.
that's a very easy miss to happen. It's common, it's going to happen, and even when you're lined up, they're going to happen. I think an important thing to talk about when you're bowling on difficult patterns is that it is difficult to get to the pocket. You are going to have bad misses, and you're going to have errant shots, and you're going to also have shots where you thought were kind of close and they weren't. And we got to keep adjusting. So don't be scared when those happen. Just think to yourself, okay, am I in the right part of the lane? Do I need to try a different strategy?
So that one I missed right, which again, we're just learning. I don't care that I threw it bad or whatever. I now know that when I get my feet left and I miss it to the right, that there's no hook spot out there.
So what are you going to do now?
So now I'm gonna play more of the middle. I'm not gonna throw it out to the right.
Throw it
as
out to
much.
the right. Okay.
And we're gonna see if this slides as much as that last one did, or if it hooks, then we're in trouble. Okay, so that actually slid way more than I thought it would.
Right.
So that's a good sign. Now, if that would have hooked and went almost Brooklyn, that's what we call jail, or bowling out of a phone booth. That's
Yeah.
how I've heard that one. Bowling out of a phone booth. It's like, there's nowhere to throw it. So the fact that that didn't hook means I have a place to throw it, which is a really good sign.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're also, what I liked about that one is that you're up the back, you rolled it. We didn't try to hit it very much, and it was smooth off the end of the pattern. So a lot of times we're bowling on these hard patterns, we want to try to get a ball reaction that is controllable. There's times when we bowl and stuff where we really want something to be sharp down lane, but on harder patterns, it's tough to control when we just want to get to the pocket. For instance, that last shot Brad left like a half 7, weak 7, whatever you want to call it, that's perfect. That is the result we're looking for. A lot of times that will fall, a lot of times it won't, but the beautiful thing is we had a single pin instead of a washout that we had to shoot at.
Yeah, and a lot of times I would look at that, the way that ball just hit the pins right there and it flat 7'd, and you think, well, we have all these balls that we throw, there's probably a better one out there. Most of the time that's the case. When they're really, really difficult and 210 or 220 is a good score, you almost throw it out the window. You don't care about a bowling ball having a better shape or looking prettier through the pins or whatever. You don't care about none of that. Did it hit the 1-3? And if that ball is doing that, then you're giving yourself the best chance to, you don't even know. You might even shoot 260 or 270, but you're definitely giving yourself the best chance to shoot 210, 220. Right. So, but because this one actually, if that one would have hooked and I would have been uncomfortable, I would have had to split the gap. So the one that went way out to the right and then the one that went left, I'd have to try and play directly in the middle of those two and then just try and put on the best shot-making clinic I can for myself. That's not the case here. We have a little bit of room in, so I'm going to throw another shot, same spot, and we're going to see if we can get this ball to kind of go through the pins a little better and go from there. All right, I actually missed a little bit right on that. It wasn't awful, but again, we didn't split.
Right, and that's part of the strategy. Like when you're looking, as much as you want the ball to hit the pocket, another important thing is when we miss and we're in a close, if you're in the close part of the lane and you have a ball, when you're missing, like that shot. Before, when we were further right, when he missed right, we washed out. Now we moved everything in. When he misses now, it's a 2-pin instead. And I think an important mindset to talk about when you're bowling on difficult patterns is don't go chasing 5-baggers. We just want to throw quality shots, hit the pocket, make our spares, try to get doubles here and there, stay clean, and then you'll be amazed that when you're shot making, you get more comfortable with what's going on with the lane, your shot making's a little better, those 5-baggers will come. But if you start pressing for 5, 6, 7-baggers, trying to say, oh, I'm not striking, then usually bad things start happening.
Especially, you start out 160, you're trying to gain pins back. You just gotta, first and foremost, get to the hole. So now, one last shot, just to sum up the whole little learning process here. We tried out to the right, and then we tried left, and we found something left because there was hold. I haven't struck yet, so now this is the shot. I should be pretty comfortable because we at least have a line. And I missed the last one a little bit to the right, and I only 2-pinned and I didn't split. So I should be comfortable right now. I've got a decent line, and so we're gonna see if we can hit it. And this will be the medium pattern. Here we go. Hook. Nah.
The max penalty, baby.
I'm missing right. Now that was a poorly executed shot. I can't necessarily blame that one on the ball. I mean, I don't know. Maybe at this point I would throw another ball, but again, even where I'm playing right now, I know I just split, but I'm close to the pocket. I threw that one pretty bad. It did split, but it almost got back.
Yeah.
So even though I haven't struck yet, I am pretty close. And that's really step number 1.
You want me to show you how it's done? real
Yeah,
quick?
go ahead.
We got to give the folks at home what they want. Last time I threw a shot, it fell out of my hand into the right gutter. So.
Yeah, don't do that.
Or do.
Ooh.
Ah.
That was actually a pretty good shot, though.
Yeah, and for me, my strategy would be on something like this is I know I can't miss right, so I'm going to try to play middle part of the lane, something controllable, keep my hand a little more up the back, and try to stay around the pocket. 4-pin, happy with that. Flat 10, happy with that. And then once the pattern breaks down a little bit, might be a little easier, then I know that if I start throwing good quality shots and stay close to the pocket, the pins will start to fall.
Yeah, and in general, if a pattern starts out really hard, as we bowl on it, the transition hits, it becomes a little easier, usually, if it starts out really hard. If it starts out really easy, then it can kind of become harder. So on these harder, more difficult conditions, they become easier. So even if you start out bad and you're struggling or whatever the case may be, there's always hope because there's always, a pair you could hit. There's always things that can be done in changing environments that can allow you to bowl a really big game. So don't get discouraged. Just make sure you're going through your routine, you're making sure you're rolling it, and you're staying close to the head pin, and you should be off to a pretty good start. All right, guys, so that is our video on difficult medium patterns. Remember, it's a long game. The pattern changes as you go, so just stay close. Make sure your hand's up the back and you're staying close to the head pin. And then remember, they get a little easier as you go, and then you can shoot the 250s and the 260s.
And if you guys haven't checked out our merch store, if you guys like bowling t-shirts or you want to support us, we've had a lot of people buying our merch this year, and it's so awesome to go to a bowling alley and be like, dude, that's awesome.
That's
so
our merch.
like this beautiful Kyle Sherman silhouette, please go buy my shirt right
With
now.
a signature on it.
With a signature on it. But yeah, seriously guys, we have a lot of bowling apparel on there. We're trying to build more designs for you guys. It's cool. There's not a whole lot of bowling t-shirts out there, so we're trying.
Yeah,
man.
support us.
Appreciate it. So thank you guys for watching the video, like and subscribe, and we will see you guys on the next one.